Yes, people, what's happening? Back again with another footy talk. Savas in the building. What's happening, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Can you hear me? Am
All
I
good. All
like
good.
okay?
All
Cool.
good.
Sorry, I'm not in my usual area today. So yeah, just hoping the sound's good. How are you? You well?
Yeah, sweet, man. All good, man. To be fair, enjoying the international break. Not for footballing reasons, but it's just, yeah, it's good to have a break from watching my team play horrendous football, boy. And then, I don't know, we're back. We got a tough 5, 6 weeks coming up, man.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Do you know what? Before I was very much against international weeks, and I find it a bit boring from a kind of YouTube and streaming perspective.
Yep.
But after what was happening to Spurs, the other side or that side of the break, I'm quite glad because it's all gone a little bit Pete Tong. So yeah, it is what it is.
Will you be getting anyone back after the international break, or like how's it looking?
So what do we have? So we lost to Chelsea's the game where it all went mad, right? Okay, so we've played Wolves. That means Adogi is back. Adogi is back from his one-match suspension, so he can go into left back. Romero's got 2 more games out, which is Villa next weekend and then Man City the weekend after. Oh, that's going to be fun. And then after that, Van der Ven and Maddison still look like they're out until the new year. So other than Adogi coming back and then Romero, this is what we've got. This is what we go to the new year with.
Damn, fair enough, man. That's crazy, bruv. That is actually crazy, man. Boy, you got an uphill battle, man. I think, yeah, your squad's gonna really get tested now.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't think it's anything we didn't know, right? I think that's the key thing. I think a lot of people are acting like it's a shock. It's not. When you have a paper thin 11, the moment you start picking up injuries to those 11, the drop-off is huge. Other clubs, the drop-off isn't so big. So, for example, if Arsenal drop off from Martinelli to Trossard, I mean, some might say there's no drop-off. They're just different types of players.
Yeah.
Spurs have gone from James Maddison to having absolutely no one that can play that creative role. So straight away, you go from this attacking football team to a team that are really devoid of ideas because of one injury.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells me everything about where we are at the moment. But look, he's had one window, so we need to see what we can bring in. But the only other options are you've got players like, do you move Kulusevski into the middle?
Into Madison's position, you could do that. But then who plays on the right?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. With that, you've got Brennan Johnson, who for me, I think is being played in the wrong position. I think he's a right winger anyway, being played on the left. You could put Emerson Royale back to right back and put Pedro Porro advanced, because I'll be honest with you, Pedro Porro can't defend to save his life, but he's excellent going forward. You got Bentancur back in the funny, I didn't see that.
I just put that up now.
I'm not sure Bentancur can play the 10, but he does add a little bit of calm, a little bit of creativity from a deeper position. But you've got to be really careful, right? He's just come back from a 10-month injury. So, look, I think we're in trouble. As I said, Villa up next. I'm worried. I'm really worried about playing Villa.
Man. Villa been doing well.
Yeah. Do you know what it is more than anything? I worry that people can get our defence. Now, you can get at it when we have got Romero and Van der Ven. So now people getting at it without them, Wolves showed it. Like, I don't know, did you watch the Spurs-Wolves game?
I didn't. I just saw the highlights, but apparently the highlights didn't do justice to how bad it could have been for you lot.
Basically, it was one of those ones where a team has a chance, right? And then the cameras show the replay. And then when they went back from the replay to the footage, Wolves were attacking again. And it was like, oh my God. Like we couldn't stem the flow. Now, no disrespect to Wolves, but that's against a Wolves team that struggled to score goals. Aston Villa are the second highest goal scorers in the Premier League.
Damn, I didn't even know.
So behind Man City, they're the second highest goal scorers. You've got, Diaby's on form. Watkins having a very good season. I was going to say Luis Diaz. Douglas Luiz. I knew it was all there somewhere. Douglas Luiz is grabbing goals. Zaniolo and Bailey are dangerous. So Listen, I'll say exactly what I said before Wolves. If you offer me a point, Rants,
You'll take it.
now, yeah, I'm taking a point because I think they're going to score for fun. I do think they're going to score past us a lot.
Yeah, it's just damage limitation for you guys at the moment, innit? It's do as well as you can with what you've got until your players come back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy. But you never know. There's players that can, as long as you can keep Sarr and Basuma. Even though I think Basuma's suspended for one game, isn't he?
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, he's suspended as well. it's all good fun, Rants. It's all
Once
good
you
fun.
if you can keep them two together, then whoever plays in front of them, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've got, even if it's Lo Celso, even if you did decide to bring Kulusevski in there, whatever, like as long as them two are there, it should be all right. And even if Højbjerg has to come in for one game, then so be it, innit? That because I think that midfield area is super important.
Yeah, I think what it is, we've had 4 or 5 years now since, God, what year did Eriksen leave? 2019, maybe? It's been 4 years since Christian Eriksen left. And in that 4 years, what we've relied on solely for creativity is Harry Kane. Now, literally, it feels like what we've done is replaced Harry Kane with James Maddison. So Sonny now gets Kane's goals. Maddison now does Kane's assists. The problem is you take one of them out of that function and you haven't got the other one. And they put some stats up the other day of Tottenham on the pitch this season with Maddison and Tottenham without Maddison. And honestly, Rants, it looked grim. It looked really grim. And for anyone wanting to know Maddison's impact on Spurs in the Premier League, just look at those stats. Everything. Touches in the opposition box, chances created, chances attempted, through balls, killer passes in the front. Everything went from there to there when Maddison doesn't play. So tough. He's listen, it's what he's paid to do, right? He's got to find a solution.
Yeah, Maddison is the kind of player that if you've got him there, you have to build the system around him being the facilitator. But the problem is when you don't have him, there's always going to be a massive drop-off because you can't get a player that's going to replace him, that's willing to be a squad player, that's going to be able to give you the output that he gives you. It's the same as City and Kevin De Bruyne, isn't it? They don't have a player of his profile, but they have players that are just as good that can do other things to fill in for him. So it might just be a case of you guys finding someone that can have an impact in the same position as Maddison, but maybe just a different style of player in it. So
yeah, I think what we need to do, look, we're not a club that's blessed and going to go out and have all those options that City have got, you know, and I'm not expecting, there aren't many James Maddisons anyway, let alone at 40 million that we paid for him. Yeah. I think what we need to do is be looking at maybe some younger players that fit that mould. Maybe even, Bournemouth bought that young lad from Bristol City in the summer. His name escapes me right now, Alex something. And maybe someone like that comes on 5-10 minutes here, then when Maddison's out, gets his opportunity. What it looks like is everyone in the summer was saying that we kept Lo Celso for that. Alex Scott, thank you to Rayan. Yeah, Alex Scott, that's the one. And not the Arsenal female player as well, the one that played for Bristol City. We kept Lo Celso. And I think a lot of people were thinking, right, well, Lo Celso's going to obviously be the James Maddison replacement.
He can play in there.
And then we get to Wolves and he opted for 3 hard-working midfielders instead of anyone with creativity. And that worried me slightly because...
Is it because it was away from home, though?
I don't know, but all I was told, Rants, was this is the way he plays, this is what he does, this is his philosophy. And then the first sign of trouble, and we ditched it. So I'm not sure. I feel like against Villa, I think if you just play the 3 hard-working midfielders in with that defence of Davis and Dyer, I think you're literally asking Aston Villa to play through balls into Diaby, Watkins and Zaniolo all day. So it's going to be a very long day if we don't try and retain possession at the other end.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I can see that. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what he does though with that midfield, because I understand putting the workhorses in there and playing a different style, but then with that said, you guys need to score goals. So I don't know,
exactly.
Man. And I don't know. I feel like, especially if you're going to have the problems in defence that you're having here, then attack's probably the best form.
Yeah, I think you've got to, you know, Spurs we've got some creativity in the final third, but what we haven't got is in midfield. So for me, we've got to find a way of getting the ball up the top of the pitch quicker. And against Wolves, we didn't quite do that. And again, the problem for me, if you look at this, is he plays Brennan Johnson on the left, who's right-footed, and he plays Kulu on the right, who's left-footed. So what ends up happening is every single time teams are working out now, just close off those channels because they both cut in. So for me, I'd love to see Brennan Johnson given the freedom of the right side to actually run at his player, not cut in. But I'm worried, Rants, because lose to Villa and lose to Man City, suddenly you're 4 in a row. And all of a sudden, a lot of the good work that's been done in that opening 10 games has all of a sudden been massively undone. Everyone's caught us up. And then you're scrambling about for the 7 games that are about to come in December. So
yeah, 100%. But then on the flip side, you could look at it that you guys built that cushion up for yourselves. You kind of earned that. Do you know what I'm saying? Earned that cushion by winning games that maybe people didn't expect you to win. You probably had the hardest start of the Premier League out of all the teams in the Big Six. Like, you pretty much played everyone early doors. Do you know what I mean? You had very favourable results. Obviously, you got a draw against Arsenal. Do you know what I'm saying? Which some people didn't expect. So it's just one of them ones. Beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like, when you actually look at the running you had, you earned the right to maybe have a few games off, even if, say, you don't get the results that you want, and you're still going to be there or thereabouts. Like, top four was always the target for you guys. Like, you were never going to win the league. Like, do you know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, listen, we gave ourselves a little bit of a buffer. I think what we need to do is we need to be careful. We need to make sure that with the 7 games in December that there's enough in there that we can grab 2 or 3 wins. What we don't want to do is go on this run now where we lose 4, then 5, then 6, and then all of a sudden it's hang on. Now Europe doesn't look likely. Now that's worst case scenario. I don't think it will come to that, but this is the cure and the cause of having someone like James Maddison. It's great. You play through him and he creates everything and you think you're going to score all the time. When he's not there, this is what we have to deal with. So we'll see. And then we'll see, you know, both of them are due to be back in January, as far as I'm aware.
That's a lot of football, man, over the Christmas period, though. That is a lot of football. That's the one thing I would say. Like, even though it seems like, January is just down the road, and technically it is. Because it's about 6 weeks away, but it's a lot of football. Maybe less for you guys because you got less games to play, but still, it's still a lot of football, man.
Well, you've got to look at it. So far in the first 3 months of the season, what's there been? August, September, October, November. The first 4 months of the season, Spurs have been used to playing every sort of 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in December, we're going to be thrust into without some of our best players playing every 3 or 4 days. So that's going to be a real test of this team, this playing style. We do play a very high octane pressing energy game. That's great. But then if the players have only then got 3 days in between to get their legs sorted, the likes of Basuma, the likes of Papasar, then it's, you know, the likes of Bentancur coming back from injury, it's going to be tough. Then you go into January and you've got Son going to the Asian Cup. You've got Basuma and Papasar going to the African Cup of Nations. Van der Ven and Maddison out injured. So it's a test. This is a big test for him. He'll play it down. He does. In his interviews, he plays it down. He says, "Oh, mate, this isn't a big test. A big test is X, Y, and Z." But from a Spurs point of view, he had it quite plain sailing for the first 10 games.
Yep.
Now, how does he get through that period without losing some of the I don't mean losing some of the fan base like forever, but I just mean when you lose a couple, it's okay. When that couple turns into 4, now we've lost, 5 out of the last 8 games. Is the belief still there? Are your press conferences still having the same effect on the fans? Is everyone singing about Ange being a god? And do you know what I mean?
But this is the thing, though. That's the only thing I would say. There is a danger, of Tottenham players starting to feel sorry for themselves if you get beat a few times. Do you know what I mean? If it is 4 losses in a row, then them kind of things set in it. It's kind of like, we're the unlucky ones, bad luck. We started so well. Look what's happening, and there is a danger of that creeping in if you don't kind of stem the bleeding and win some games, man. Because it's all well and good saying, cool, it's unlucky and all of these other things, yeah, and injuries and stuff. But boy, results are results, innit? Like it just is what it is. It's so easily forgotten in football.
Of course. And I mean, look, if you look beyond those two games, then, I mean, I've said if we get 1 point from Villa and City, I'll take it, right? At the moment, I know that's mad and people have a go at me, but I'll take the point of Villa against Villa. And then Man City, just keep the score down. You've then got West Ham at home in a London derby, Newcastle at home. That won't be easy. Nottingham Forest away, Everton at home, Brighton away. And that takes us right up until January. So there's some winnable games in there, but without Van der Ven and Maddison, it does change the likelihood of 3 points in those games. So look, you know me, Rants. I'll keep my feet on the ground. I didn't get too excited at the best of times.
Sure.
We'll see what happens through December. Look, we've got 8 games between now and the new year. If Spurs can grab 3 wins from those 8 games and maybe a couple of draws, I'm taking it at this stage.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm taking it. Taking
Yeah,
it.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, got to win the home games. Like, got to beat West Ham. You know, got to beat Everton at home. Got to beat West Ham at home. But listen, it's the life of a Spurs fan. It was all going too well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? Every team has bumps in their journey, regardless. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you look at Man City and you'd say, oh, like they're going through a bit right now. And look where they are. So, do you know what I mean? It's all relative. Like every team's gonna have challenges. Every team's gonna have dips of form and so on and so forth. But it's where you are at the end of this little stint, which will tell you a lot about your team and where they're gonna finish.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. I think, look, it's tough, right? Because what we're seeing now is very much the team that he had to play against Wolves. You're almost back to Conte. So then you know, obviously you've got the people who are defenders of Conte going, oh, well, let's see what another manager does then with the same players. And obviously the first game, it was like, oh, this is bad. Like the Wolves game was bad, really bad. I think what we need to see the next couple, Villa and Man City, is that fight. We need to see that. I'm not normally that fan because I think that people should fight anyway. But I think what we've got to do is see that fight that keeps everybody together. That means we don't get embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want a 5 at Man City or a 6 at Man City. And my worry is Porro can't defend, by the way. So you've got Porro, Davis, and Dyer in a back 4. And then you've got Udogie, who's a good player, but he's young and, you know, he's rash, his temperament. So it's, pray for Spurs not next week and a weekend after against City. Pray for Spurs.
Boy. I hear you, bro. Big up everyone inside. Smash the likes. You already know what it is. Yeah, this is crazy. Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane, definitely Casemiro as well. Do you know what I'm saying? News come out saying now Varane's unhappy at Man United. But we knew this was coming, guys. I've been telling you. I've been telling you about this manager. And it was very clear. I think it was the Copenhagen game. Tried to bring him off the bench. And you can see Varane didn't make any eye contact with the manager, walked straight past him, went to the assistant. Like, there's a problem there. There's a big problem there. Same with the Casemiro one. And also the week, I think Varane didn't train on the Tuesday. And then, no, the week before, he didn't train on the Tuesday. So it's one of them things where, and I don't think it's through injury. I just think he just didn't turn up to training, bro. That's kind of what the news was. The news was he said, he felt something, he didn't train, but that don't make no sense, innit? I think it was the Tuesday after the Manchester derby, he got dropped, and then the following week he didn't report to training until I think Wednesday or something like that. This manager's falling out with all of the players that have anything about them. He is not the guy. He is not the guy to be in place when the takeover and the new people get announced. Obviously, there's rumours that there's going to be an announcement tomorrow about the Ratcliffe thing. But all the noise is that Paul Mitchell's coming in and a new CEO's coming in. Murto and Arnold will leave, and this manager has to go because you can't be falling out with all of our big players like that. Just that doesn't make any sense. Like I can't see how this club would let Rafael Varane go when we got Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof, and Harry Maguire here. Like to me, that don't make sense. If Varane leaves the club before any of them three, it tells you everything you need to know about this football club. It's an absolute disgrace if that happens. And if it does happen, it's purely a money saving exercise because Varane's on more money than all of them. It won't be any other reason.
Do you know what? The United has really turned into a kind of saga, hasn't it? Like a long running saga with everything, the manager, the players, the owners, the whole thing seems like a bit of a circus. And for me, I feel like every time, I know this sounds bad because the whole point of winning of football is winning games. Every time I see you win a game, Rants, all I can think of is the phrase plasters over surgery. Yeah. I truly believe that every win is just more, this is just taking away from the root cause. This is just taking away from the inevitable. People can put up stats of, we've won this many and this many games, but the football is diabolical. The players don't look like they're playing for him. The wins are coming against the teams you should be beating. You know that. And look, you've got players like Varane. Who, let's be fair, Varane. People could say what they want about his ability and this and that. The other. Varane is a serial winner with both club and country. Right. This is a man that's won. Am I right in saying? Did he win the World Cup with France? Was he part of that team?
He was indeed.
So he's won what 5 Champions Leagues, maybe.
Yeah.
He's won a World Cup. You know, he's won multiple La Ligas. This is a man that's not going to be used to this kind of disarray.
Nope.
He might have been in changing rooms which are difficult at Madrid. But let's be fair, if there's trouble at Madrid, they go, boom, change now.
That's the difference. They'll get rid of a manager if the manager needs to go. They'll get rid of the players if the players need to go. They don't take any of these things lightly at Madrid. If there's any problems, they get dealt with immediately.
Yeah, do you know what? I watched a documentary the other day about them and Barcelona, and it's just mad. You don't get breathing space. If you are not doing well, it is, oh my God, we haven't 11 games. We've only won see you later. Boom.
Yeah.
And Varane, the players are no different to that. When the players have come into that culture, you've got Varane and Casemiro, who are both used to being serial winners and fighting for titles, right? Now, all of a sudden, they're not serial winners. And they're not fighting for, with all due respect, they're not fighting for anything at the top end of the table. The football that they're playing in is terrible. And I'm not saying they're not contributing towards that at all, but that's the ego of the big player. The big player that's been at the big club wants better. So I understand it if he wants to go, if he wants to walk. And you have to take that and say, well, this isn't the root cause. This is a byproduct of the root cause. How do we get to that root cause? And for me, we said it before, not just Ten Hag, the whole thing. Ten Hag for me needs to go. The directors of football need to go. The owners, I think the whole thing needs to be thrashed out. And United need to get rid of a lot of, I'm talking the Rashfords, I'm talking the Martials, McTominay's, Evans, Maguire's, I'm talking Luke Shaw's. Rebuild the whole thing. Have one of those windows where 15 go and 10 come in and young build, grow, and give the fans a glimpse of the future. Because, sorry, I know I've ranted here, but if I was a United fan, I'd be looking at this and saying, for the first time in a very, very long time, I can't even see the wood through the trees. I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Sorry if any of that was not right, but...
No, spot on, because the thing is, from the noises that have been coming out, they're saying that they're going to bring in the Jean-Claude Blanc guy as CEO, who was the guy that helped Juventus rebuild after the scandal when they got relegated. He also helped set up PSG as well. So he's got a good CV. And then they're saying that they're going to bring in Paul Mitchell, who worked closely with Poch at Southampton and at Spurs as well. Yeah, and also he worked at Leipzig as well, and he was at Monaco. So cool. Those are 2 good moves. Me personally, I do not believe that this manager deserves the opportunity to be part of this rebuild, because he's shown in a very short space of time that he can't even manage a dressing room. And it's one of the most important things as a manager is man management, managing a dressing room. If you can't manage a dressing room at the club the size of Manchester United, if you can't manage the big players and the big egos, you don't deserve to be at a club this size, bro, because that's the bare minimum
Yeah.
that's expected of a manager. If you can't keep the respect of players like Cristiano Ronaldo, of Casemiro, of Varane, because these are some of the most successful footballers of their era. Forget what they've done at Manchester United. These lot are Real Madrid's 100 goals, 100 points. Do you know what I mean? Champions League, like 3 times in a row, all of this. If you can't manage these players, you shouldn't be at Manchester United unless we're admitting that Manchester United aren't a big club anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, these players we're talking about as well, playing for Ten Hag, they're used to seeing managers get sacked if you just win a league. They're used to saying, oh, I've won the Champions League, but I've been sacked in the same season. So they're used to that ultimate elite mentality. The Man United fans, probably from I'm a tiny bit older than you, but from your era, from our era, are used to that elite mentality. Win at all costs. All right, we didn't win the league this year. Next year we're in a title race. What they're seeing at the moment is no direction.
Even at Real Madrid, it was we have to win the Champions League. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it was. The Champions League thing for Real Madrid is like winning the league, or winning the league secondary at Real Madrid. Like the Champions League is the thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's how crazy it is. They'll give up La Liga to win the Champions League. They feel like the Champions League belongs to them. And when you see how many times they've won it, you can understand that. Like the expectations are completely different. Win the Champions League and win the Clasico.
It's crazy, right? I mean, it does feel strange because for saying all of this, you have crept up into 6th place. You are on the edge, depending if 5th is Champions League or not, depending on the rules. But like, I'm looking now. I've just got up the 11 that you put out in your last game, and I'm looking and thinking, how far removed from your rivals can you be?
Bro, like, look at the bench, bruv. The bench is better than the starting 11. Like, this is Manchester United right now.
It's mad. Like, honestly, I'm looking at it thinking, if your rivals, Man City, are looking at that 11, they're going, we have nothing to worry about for years to come.
Yep.
Do you know, and that's the harsh reality of it. If I'm like, let me use it. If I'm looking at West Ham, right? I'll use West Ham because I don't think Spurs are amazing. If I look at West Ham, I don't ever look at West Ham and go, oh my God, they're coming for us.
Yeah.
Right. I think, oh, that's all right. Yeah, I'm cool. They'll do well. They'll win a few games, but we'll always be above them. If I'm Man City, I'm looking at Man United now going, who in that 11 that you played the other day would even remotely ask the question to be in the Man City starting 11, if not the squad?
Yeah.
Would any one of them get in, Rants, from the 11 that started?
Nope.
Would any one of them get on the bench for Man City?
Probably not.
Right. That's where the club needs to go. How have we got this far away? And the reason I use Man City, I always use them, they're the benchmark. Not just for you lot, they're the benchmark for all of us. And to be in a position where you're back to Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof, Reguilon, who couldn't even get in our team, that's madness. Absolutely madness.
But this is what I'm saying. There's so many things wrong with what's going on at Manchester United. If you look at the amount of money, that this manager spent on players that he's not even playing, tells you everything you need to know. There's something massively wrong, because what that tells me is that I've bought players to do something, I can't get them to do it. So now I'm relying on the players that were here already to keep me in a job. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. 400 million. 400 million. And you got Amrabat and Mount on the bench. 2 midfielders you brought in. There's 3 midfielders that can start at any one time, in that formation. And you've bought 2 and they're both on the bench. Like, that's sackable.
So basically, sackable. He's been bought in to upscale and upskill what you've got.
Yeah.
Bought in his own players, failed with those players, gone back to the previous set of players to help him, and got all of his players that he's bought on the bench. Wow. What do you... where'd you go for... I mean, I'm looking at your results. I mean, like, win, lose, win, lose, lose. Win, win, lose, lose, win, win, lose, 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 win, lose. Like, there's no form, there's no consistency.
But
And
that's what I'm
even then,
saying.
when I look at your wins, like Luton 1-0, yeah, you've got to beat Luton.
And that was dead as well, the 1-0 as well. It was a scrappy 1-0.
Oh, it's mad. Fulham 1-0. All right, Fulham aren't very good.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Before that, it was Copenhagen 1-0.
Yeah.
Sheffield United. For me, someone's got to pull that cord. For me, somebody's
He's
before
so
the January
bad.
window.
Like,
Yeah.
people don't understand. He's terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's actually terrible. And when you look at the players he's fallen out with our best players. Somebody sent me a video earlier of like a little GQ Q&A that they done with the Man United players, and I think it was in August or something like that, and they're asking like, best dressed, like just the funniest, who controls the music, whatever, and that. Bro, I heard Jadon Sancho's name about 10 times in the video. Yeah, clearly he's a player that's highly regarded in the changing room, clearly, because when they're talking about best dressed, like most banter, all these other things, everything, Sanch, falling out of the manager. And I said it at the time, yeah, there's no way that Jadon Sancho, yeah, agrees to be alienated from the squad, yeah, if he didn't know that multiple players and multiple senior players felt the same way he did about the manager. There's no way. Because you don't want to be the odd one out. Why are you going to be the sacrificial lamb? Like, it doesn't make sense. The fact that he's taken the stand he's taken, there's loads of the guys tapping him on his shoulder saying, you know what, this guy's a dickhead. Hopefully he'll be gone soon. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there's no way. Because what? For the sake of an apology. There's no way. There is absolutely no way. Like, if all of his mates were like, you know what, we like him. Come on, like, suck it up, man. We got some matches to win. Just ignore him. Like, nah, it's not that. Clearly, there's something going on in that dressing room, but the dressing room's clearly split. And we're seeing it right now. Because we saw Ronaldo leave. We've seen Cass and Varane, who are senior players, and Sancho fall out with this manager. That's four players, bro. Like, 4 players in a very short space of time.
Yeah, look, I mean, I tell you what, somebody's made a great point in your chat, but which is, it's a good point, but it's just football. If you go to the one above that for me, DK, said, I don't care if people don't rate Ten Hag. If he's trash, how are you trusting the same club to hire the right one? But listen, my man, this is life. This is, you know, the fact that you might not trust the owners to get the next guy right isn't a reason to keep someone bad in a job, is it? Yeah. You know, they're 2 different problems that you've got there with the board. But you can't go on like this because, okay, the game that summed it up for me more than any was Brighton are a good team. They're a good team, nothing special, but they're a good team. Yeah. That day when I saw Brighton as favourites go into Old Trafford, and you think to yourself, one of these teams is signing all the players the manager wanted in the summer. The other one is having to sell all their best assets to Chelsea and Liverpool, etc. And yet the team that is selling all their big players are the favourites and then go and absolutely dominate. That's the moment, I think, where as a club, the owners have to go, this isn't right. But they haven't. And from there, you've gone on still with that same pattern. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. What's the trigger, Rants? Does it need 3 or 4 in a row?
No, you know what it is? I think it's once we get knocked out of the Champions League, which will probably be in a few weeks, then heads on the chopping board. Because once we can't qualify in the Champions League, we just need to lose one. And that was it. I think we just need to lose one more game. And we can't qualify. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. If we lose in Istanbul, we're done. I don't think we can lose in Istanbul and still go through. I could be wrong. Do you know what I'm saying?
So at the moment, you're saving grace. It depends which way you want to look at it, Rants.
Yeah.
Bayern have got 12, Copenhagen and Galatasaray 4, and then you've got 3. So at the moment, you can still go through. A defeat in your next game. Who have you got next game?
In Istanbul against Galatasaray.
A defeat to Galatasaray. Let's assume that Bayern Munich are going to beat FC Copenhagen.
Yeah, which they should. But you never know. Even if Copenhagen get a draw, then that means we have to beat Bayern Munich in the last game to go through.
And where's that?
Oh, it's at ours, but it doesn't matter where it is. It's still Bayern Munich.
I was going to say, I thought you probably have more chance if it was in Bayern the way you've been playing at home. But
Bro, listen, what I'm saying is, yeah, like, the likelihood of us, yeah, going and winning in Copenhagen and beating Bayern Munich, forget about it. You know, like that, forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, we're losing at least one of those games.
At this stage, can I ask you as a United fan, would you prefer to now finish bottom of the group and have no Europe?
Yeah, I would.
Or get into the Europa League?
No Europe. I don't want Europa League.
Europe.
What are we going to do in that? You know what I mean? And Sevilla's going to end up down there and a few other teams. No thanks. Just knock us all the way out. I'm cool with
You could
that.
get West Ham in the Europa League and get knocked out at the Olympic Stadium, something like that.
Bro, I'm just trying to say, yeah, like, knock us out completely so we can just focus on the FA Cup and the Premier League. That's it. And focus on rebuilding this club once the new manager comes in. 100%. Like, that's what I'm on. Yeah,
mate. It's not good. I mean, listen, I was watching the Copenhagen Man United game, and you know, normally you watch a game like that and you're thinking, oh, it's Man U, they're going to turn it around somehow. They're going to, you know, but there was just nothing there. Like, there's no talisman anymore. There's no big players. Like, I don't mean there's no big players, but there's no big players that take a game by the scruff of the neck and really lead. And
that's because we're not signing those kind of players. And also,
I know.
Manager made Bruno the captain. Now imagine if you're Varane and you're Casemiro and that, and you got to watch this little rat running around, rolling around, cheating all the time, yeah? And he's meant to be the talisman. Bro, he's one of the biggest scumbags, bruv. Like, he just cheats, bruv. You just watch him play, he just dives, complains, and just gives the ball away. Like, he's an absolute nuisance, bruv. He plays for the other team. Like, he literally plays for the other team. And this is the guy leading us out week in, week out. It's actually, bro, it's embarrassing. Like, that's the guy, that's the face of our club.
Yeah, I can't lie. He's one of those that, as a fan of a rival club, sorry, not a rival club, but as a fan of an opposing club, he's so annoying. Like, he's always around the ref, always moaning, always complaining. So what you were saying is, when Bayern Munich comes to town, we'll put lots of money on Harry Kane to score 2 or 3 goals.
100%, man. Bro, like, you know, people are using the excuse that, they might be through already. Bro, we lost to Newcastle C team, bruv. Like, we lost to Newcastle C team. And you think that even Bayern, if they rest 4 players, they can't still beat us. It's Bayern Munich. Like, come on, mate. And Harry Kane's just, bruv, he scores goals for fun because he just likes scoring goals. Harry Kane's not going to take a night off because they're already through. He's coming back to Manchester United at Bayern Munich. He's scoring. If Harry Kane gets a chance, he's putting the dagger in. Like, he's scoring goals,
Yeah, I mean, look, I do. I fear for where you're heading as a club. And people might say it's not all that bad. And I'm looking at the league table right now. And where are you? Standings? You're 6th.
Look at the goal difference. It's like -3 or something.
Yeah, -3 goal difference with your fixtures coming up being Everton away, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Everton away this weekend. A galvanised Everton, maybe.
That's not an easy game, Everton away, because they've got the points deduction also, so they know they're playing for that. And then on top of that, bro, Man United versus Everton away, bro. Everton actually, I think they've won their last 2 games or something like that.
Yeah, so if you look at Everton have their last 4 games, they beat Palace 3-2 away, drew with Brighton at home, beat Burnley at home, and beat West Ham away. So they're not conceding. They're working their way up, and maybe this whole FFP thing might galvanise them. But more worrying for you guys is your next 3 are all away. Your next 3 are Everton away, Galatasaray, and then Newcastle at St James's Park.
But that's what I'm saying.
Then could Chelsea at home.
We could leave that, yeah. At them 4 games, we could get 1 point. Like,
yeah,
honestly,
that's tough.
Honestly, that's not an easy run of games.
And then you've got Bournemouth at home, or maybe a bit of respite. Yeah. Then you've got Bayern, Liverpool away, West Ham away, Villa at home, Tottenham at home.
This is the run that ends this manager. If he survives this, I don't know anymore. Honestly, if he survives that run, then this guy is Teflon. Because I can't see it. Like someone put a comment in where Joleon Lescott was saying at Man City, yeah, that like Mancini pissed off so many players they just wanted him out. Don't, bro. I feel like this is the time for them to get him the sack. There's no amount of Maguires and McTominays that are good enough to rescue this manager, yeah, against these teams. You see that team that we put out in the last game? Try putting that team out against these teams and see what happens to them. Send them guys to Istanbul, yeah, away to Galatasaray, they'll get smoked. Send them guys away to Newcastle, they'll get smoked. All of these players that have been saving him, the McTominays of this world and the Dallows and all of these, bro, in these games against these teams, they're not good enough to do this individual brilliance. This isn't Luton or Sheffield. Like, these are proper football teams. They're not going to be able to scumbag their way out of this. Unless they start playing proper football, they're going to get humbled.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it was worrying. I watched Galatasaray Bayern Munich in Galatasaray, and Munich won in the end. But the first half, the chances Galatasaray had, they ripped them open.
Yeah, man.
And
how they can play.
Yeah, especially with is it Akatoglu? Akatoglu?
I don't know.
Quality player.
I know they got what? They got Wilfred Cardi and
yeah, they normally go with Wilfred Zaha, Icardi, and I believe Tete on the right wing.
Right.
And then in that playmaker role, they've got a young player called Akatoglu or Akatog. Someone in the chat will tell me. Quality little player. Yeah, listen, they're a decent team. They're a decent team, Galatasaray, and then they've got Davinson Sanchez at the back. So I mean, what more do you want from a centre half than Davinson Sanchez? So, but yeah, listen, worrying times for you guys. And these little 1-0 wins that have managed to see you get up to 6th, I'm not sure that we're going to see a lot of them in that run that we just mentioned. Oh, dear me. No wonder United fans are having a go at Man City for the FFP stuff, because it's like,
I don't care about that.
If we're going down, you're coming down with us.
I don't care about that, yeah. Like, I rate Man City for doing what they're doing, innit? Because it's just like, I wish we were doing that, because it shows we want to win. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, if United were bending the rules, yeah, to sign the best players in the world and spend 100 million on Grealish because I wanted him and stuff like that, bro, I wouldn't care. Do you know what I mean? Deal with United's lawyers. I ain't got no time for this. Like, honestly, like I don't have a problem with what City are doing, because I know that at the height of our success here, we were definitely doing things off the books. Like, we were. Like, there's no way that we weren't. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't really care. No, I mean, I know that my manager was definitely getting money outside of just his salary at the club. Of course he was. Like, if I don't think that my manager was getting money from agents and from transfers and all that, of course he was. Like, there's too many suspect transfers that Man United have done over the years that don't make no sense. Like, unless like Fergie was getting a backhander. Like, I say that all the time, that Bebe thing. This guy was playing at a homeless World Cup and then Man United signed him, yeah? And it's just like, what the hell, bruv?
Bebe,
like,
wow.
He was playing for an orphanage or something like that. Yeah, and he ended up playing for Man United. It's like, what are you talking about? If this manager never got money in his back pocket for that transfer, I'll be, bro, listen, I'm willing to bet, yeah, every penny that's to my name that Sir Alex Ferguson got money for that transfer. Because that didn't make no sense. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not the only.
So what's that? Rants and Bants has just said he's going to put down his £5 million made from YouTube onto this bet. Is that what I heard?
I'm willing to bet every penny, bruv, that he got a backhander from that.
Oh, do you know what? I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to take the conversation down the FFP and all these problems this route, but you know what? You're not telling me throughout the history of the Premier League, up until Chelsea and City, that every single club has been above board. That every single deal has
even
been
this,
above board. Like,
when Sir Alex Ferguson was loaning players to his son's team, and then when his son got sacked, he took them back. Yeah. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Like, man, just cancelling loans.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I'm sure that's technically that can't even be legal. You can't just cancel it. Surely there's a term on the loan. Man said, "Oh, you sacked my son. Cool. Give my players back." Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. We didn't loan it to the club. We lent it to my son. Yeah, mate. It's gone mad though, isn't it? Like, I mean, without going too deep into it, football used to be such a simple game.
Yeah.
And now we're at the stage where they've made even buying players, the rules so complicated. Like I said, we did a bit on our show last night where I said, can't we just say that each team every window can spend like 125 million?
Or
That's
just
as much.
or just say 500 mil. Like, if you got it, you got it. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it, mate. Do you know
Either
what I mean?
that, but what I'm saying is, yeah, if you want to do, people can spend what they want, fine. If not, and you do want to do that, it's completely level, cool. Everyone's allowed to spend 100 million, or your net profit, or sorry, your balance over a summer window.
It has to be a net spend of.
Yeah, not over 3 years. Why not say no? This summer, all right, you can buy 200 million pounds of players. You need to balance those books. Yeah. So that means that everyone has to actually think about it. But what we've done is we've created a league now where everyone obviously wants to see the best players and wants to splash the most cash. But we're creating a league now where the financial rules aren't actually, they're not, when we look at the financial fair play for what? What is it actually doing?
Fair for who? Like,
Yeah,
it's never going to be fair because I got more money than you.
Yeah.
He's got more money than me. So how is it fair, bruv? It's not fair. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Look, but the thing is,
they said that Everton made a loss in it of 135 million. That's why they're getting docked points or something like that.
And so they should, by the way, according to the rules. But with that, what people have to understand, and I'm sure you've had this loads in the streams you've been on, Rants. People are going, oh, well, if Everton are getting done, City should. It's like, well, no, hang on, it's two different things. They're not being done for the same thing. But equally, like somebody's put in the chat there saying one player cost 100 million, Sava. But what would happen is the market would right itself. If just play along for 1 second, Rants, right? If I said, right, I'm the new FIFA governing body, every team in the world in their transfer window can only spend a maximum of 150 million pounds. 150. All of a sudden, all these footballers aren't worth 100 and 120 million. They're not. Because no one's going to want to spend all their transfer on one win. So what will happen is players will then start dropping down to 50, 60 million, right? The top players. Then what you'll see is, right, who's clever? Who's good in the market? Who can get 3 or 4 in and 3 or 4 out, balance their books, or say that every window you're allowed a 25 million loss.
Yeah.
Like a 25 million loss. But if you got 25 million loss this window, your next window has to be in the plus or level. I don't know.
You have to balance it out.
There's got to be something better than this whole you can't lose this much over 3 years. Because Chelsea have just proved that you can manipulate everything and there's nothing fair about it.
But
why not all say
how's it ever going to be fair? Like the whole thing, even fair play is an absolute myth anyway, because my thing is, why should you limit the spending of a football club, like based on their revenue or something like that? To me, that don't make no sense anyway, because it's like, if you're a club like, for instance, like a Brentford, and then you get bought by a billionaire, all of a sudden this guy's got loads of money that he wants to put in a club.
Right.
Like, you're going to tell me that he can't improve the club, because Brentford's fan base ain't big enough. So all it is an elitist thing anyway, because it just means the big clubs are always going to be able to spend more, and the small clubs are going to never be able to catch them because they'll never be able to spend more. So then you have to spend extra money on marketing and stuff to grow your brand, innit? And then when you're spending all that money, it's like, how can you grow your brand? How can you compete with the Man Uniteds and the Arsenals to grow your brand if you can't bring in the big players and you can't win trophies? Because that's how you get fans. You get fans by winning. So all it does, is just keep the small clubs small and the big clubs big, innit? That's what it does. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just allow them to run the Super League.
Do you know what I don't get? Yeah, listen, I agree with you on all of that. What I don't get is, if I'm a billionaire and I take over Tottenham Hotspur, it could be any club. Yeah. So what if I spend £1 billion? So what if I'm 500 million down for the window? It's my own money. What? Why?
That's what I'm saying. And if I own the club, it's my club. Right. So it's the club's money.
So let's now remove football, right? If I go and take over, I'm going to go and take over Domino's. I'm going to take over all of Domino's. And I think, you know what? We need a complete rebrand. And I'm going to put in £1 billion of my own money. Who's there telling me that I can't do that? Why does it matter if I speculate to accumulate? So why in football are we so worried about this billionaire's putting in this much? It's not fair. Everyone's owned by a billionaire now, aren't they?
But most of them, I think there's only 3 teams in the league that don't have billionaire owners.
Right.
Brentford, Everton, Brentford, Nottingham Forest, and one other team. Like that's
It's madness.
It's nonsense, bro. How are you gonna tell me how to spend my own money? And this is how much all it is it's elitist, bro. That's all it is. Because if Newcastle wanted, even if Aston Villa wanted, Aston Villa have got one of the richest owners in the whole league, bro. They man could go out there, blow everyone out the water, and there's nothing here that anyone could do. But they'll stop that from happening because it's not good for business.
I agree. I just think you either need to go one way or the other. I think you need to turn around, make it really, really simple. Option 1, everyone can spend what they want. Option 2, everyone has to spend no more than, I don't know, 100 million a window, 150
but
million
that would
a window.
be fair play. If you said everyone has to have a net spend, on players of 300 million. So net spend, that means you can sell players and do whatever, but your net spend has to be no more than 300 million at the end of every window. That's fair play. So
it's truly fair play.
Yeah.
So basically, if I'm on the last day of the transfer window, right, and you're the FA, and I'm writing to you, or I fax it or whatever, and say, hey, listen, we're doing one more deal. We're getting this bloke over the line. They might go, hang on. You spent 125 million. This guy's 30 million. Where's the 5? You're going 5 million over. If you do this, you can't register this player until you've sold someone for 5 million. But for me, that then makes all the teams have to think about it. You can't go gung-ho. Or, dare I say it, why not say the maximum you can do every window, unless a player is out of contract, the maximum you can do every window is 4 players in, 4 players out. What something that makes it truly fair,
more uniform,
right?
And that's it.
I don't understand it, because then you stop like Chelsea's window of 15 players out and 12 players in, and just 4 players out, 4 players in. That way, every window, it's not, oh my God, we're going to sell an entire squad.
Yeah,
you know, you're making the players think. You're making the players realize, hang on, they might not be able to sell me, because they might sell 4 in front of me. Like, I'm sure the powers that be, these elite rich people that must be clever because they are rich, right, can sit around a table and go, right, can we find a fairer way here? Can we find a fairer way? Because I was talking about this yesterday, right? I said, like, again, I don't know what's going to happen to Man City. I don't know how guilty they are. That's not my business. Yeah. If Man City are found guilty of whatever, and Everton's points are dropped to, let's say, 4 points. Everton go down to 4 points. But then they go, okay, well, Everton got 4 points. Man City, you've done much worse. Here's 10 points. In the grand scheme of things, Rants, the grand scheme of things, what is 10 points to Man City for 1 year? All right, it could be that it could mean they finish second this year instead of first. Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, what does it matter?
It doesn't. You know what I mean? Even 20 points. If you dock them 20 points, they'll miss out on Champions League for 1 season. Cool.
Right, they'll be back there next year, right?
They'll be back there the year after.
Or they'll win the Champions League this year.
And stay in. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's so what? We have to win to stay in. No problem. We'll focus all our energy on this because we know we're getting docked, and we'll just ignore the league, because even if we play our second team, we're still going to finish in the top half of the table anyway. Like, this is the thing. Like,
so
none
what's
of
the
it
deterrent?
don't make sense.
I've just done a video called "What's the Deterrent?"
There is
now
one.
For Man City. For Everton. If Everton go down, and the gap between them, let's assume they finish 18th, and the gap between them and staying up was 10 points. Yeah, it's thrown them down. If they stay up by 1 point, the 10 points wouldn't have mattered. They've had a bad year.
Even if they dock them 10 points, they're saying it could be dropped to 6 points or something. Bruv, even if they dock them 10 points, they're staying up anyway. Or like that.
For sure. But
it's more damaging.
It's more damaging. If they go down, it's damaging. If Man City don't win the league, listen, they could still win the league with a 10-point deficit, but likelihood says they won't. What's the harm to Man City? Oh, we've not done it, but we've still qualified for Champions League. I think you could dock them 20 points and they'd still make Champions League.
Yeah, they're still in top 4. Yeah,
that's how good they are. then what is the deterrent? You've sent, and by the way, I don't think this is going to be for years, by the way, because their lawyers are going to fight this tooth and nail. You spent years in court for what?
For nothing.
For what?
It's nonsense. And then on top of that, City are just gonna laugh at you, bruv. Like that's what it is. Because it's like if you do all of that and then the outcome's favourable to Man City, all you've done is wasted your own time. And that's why I think the Premier League are reluctant, to really punish City because it's a lose-lose situation for them. It's a lose. They can't win. There's no way that the Premier League can get an outcome.
I agree.
Where they
what do you do? Okay, now let's look at the extreme. You relegate them to the Championship.
Yeah, them and Chelsea, right? And then all of a sudden, what happened to all this TV money?
Right. So Man City are relegated to the. Let's just say I know it won't be. So I'm playing complete hypotheticals here.
Yeah.
The Premier League come out and say, like everyone says, we want Man City dealt with now. Okay, let's look at a few scenarios. Right. So they turn around in November right now and say, Man City are relegated. What do you do with the rest of Man City's games this season? Right? What happens to everyone who's got to play Man City or who has?
Do you just give them all 3 points?
Right. So then you relegate Man City at the end of the season. All right. What are you going to do? Relegate them in the Championship. They win 46 games out of 46. They come back up. What's happened?
Nothing. They just won another trophy.
Right. What's happened? Like they've just won. They've won that. They'll probably win the FA Cup. Like
they'll win the FA Cup in the Championship.
Right. Most of their big name players would probably stick around.
All of them would stick around because they would keep their money.
Right. So this is what I mean. This isn't one of those things where I think you can retrospectively punish people. This is where I think they've got to think at the get-go, how do we get to the point where this can never happen? Yeah. And they can control it by the transfers. For me, they can control it by putting a rule, say this is everyone's spending cap every summer. Even if they want to do 200 million, all right, you can spend 200 million as Premier League clubs every summer. Cool. But if you spend 200 million, you must sell 100 million pounds worth of players so that your maximum outgoing is 100 million a year. Cool. Let's do it.
100%.
Make the directors of football. Sorry, I know I'm venting, but it just seems basic.
Because it's basic logic that people are not taking into consideration. And even if they control the transfers, people will find ways, to spend money outside of the rules because it's just normal life. Like, what do you mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, even if there was that, they'll still find a way to attract certain players coming by paying them outside of their salary and all these other things. No matter what happens, people are still going to be doing these things. The sooner we acknowledge that all the clubs, that are trying to win, and even maybe teams that are not even trying to win, it might just be a team trying to stay up, and they want to attract a few players that maybe wouldn't come to their club unless you gave them a cash incentive. Like, wherever there's money to be made, there's going to be people bending the rules. Like, whether you call it cheating or not, or whether it's people trying to find loopholes to pay people and whatever, it happens at every level. It happens at semi-pro level. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the chairman will pay you from a brown envelope. Like, it might be a goal bonus. They might tell a player that's played at a higher level, oh, you know what, I'll give you 100 quid a goal and that. And that'll be aside from what's on the books and that. Like, everyone's doing it. So even this financial fair play thing, like, there's no way of making it fair. If I've got more money than you, it's not fair, bruv. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Life is not fair. Why are we pretending? You know what I mean? If I grow up in a rich family, with loads of contacts, bro, like, I'm not starting at the same level as someone that grew up in a poor area with a single parent that don't know no one and can't help them. Like, it's not fair, bruv. Like, there's nothing fair.
That's like if me and you went into the house market at the same time, and you said, "Oh, by the way, I'm just making up numbers here." You said, "Oh, my budget for a house is 2 million." I said, "Oh, my budget's only 1 million. That's not fair." Yeah, that's life.
It's not fair.
That's life. Like, what do I do? Oh my God, Rants can afford a bigger house. But this is what makes me laugh. Like, somebody put in a point, which is a really good talking point, but doesn't quite make sense at the same time, and said that, where was it? It said, so Ivo has said, you need some caps and limits to stop the mega wealthy from buying a league titles from nothing in a single year. Ivo, I'm going to throw that back at you. Say, when was the last time anybody threw something at it in 1 year and won a league? Because they've all got money now.
Yeah.
If Spurs suddenly got Man City's owners right now, does that mean we overtake Man City in one summer because we go and buy loads of players? Does that suddenly make Man City rubbish?
No.
I don't think anyone can come in. And it's why I came on your show a number of times at the beginning of this summer and said, everyone talking about Chelsea need to win a title because they spent big. It takes time.
It
You
always
don't,
does. It
no
took
one
time
wins
for
like that.
City. It takes
Right.
time for everyone, innit? Like, the difference is, if you go to a country like Germany, where all the clubs are run differently, you can have a little bit of money and fly up. Like, we're seeing it with the Berlin team. We're seeing it in Spain as well. There was a time where Malaga had loads of money, and then Malaga started doing well. Do you know what I mean? You're seeing Girona now.
Monaco. They had their
Monaco.
time, didn't they?
Teams in countries like that, where not all the Leipzig done it as well. They flew straight through the divisions. When there's places where they don't have loads of money, it's easy to do that. You can't do that in the Prem because everyone's got bread. Like, it's not the same. Like, everyone's got money, and then on top of that, it's like you have to realize there's wages. There's also, do you have a name? Because I remember when Man City tried to sign Kaka and he laughed at them. And at the time, they offered him like 300 grand a week, and that was when no one weren't getting that. And he said, "Hell no."
Money can get you so far, but how many examples of smaller clubs that have come into money that have competed with the big boys?
Yeah.
And I mean regularly.
Even Leicester done it. Leicester flew through all the divisions. Remember, they had Sven-Goran Eriksson. Like, they were doing everything. Like, Leicester came all the way through and all that. And then you get to a point where, all right, cool, we've got money, but then there's guys with more money than us, more money than us, more money than us. So, like, it just is what it is. Look at Villa. Villa's owners. I think only Newcastle's owners are richer than Villa's owners, bro. And guess what? They'll never be able to compete with the likes of Man United because, no one wants to play for Villa, respectfully.
There's a limit.
Yeah.
You can get so good, and then it comes to the point where, let's use Villa as an example. Let's say Villa this year. I love my hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Villa this year get in the Champions League, playing swashbuckling football. Oh my God, they're brilliant. Next year, they're brilliant in the Champions League. And Villa go, you know what, Mbappe, come and join us. Nope.
He'd be like,
right. So there's a limit.
Like, how'd you get my number, bro? It'd be one of them conversations. Like, what? How'd you get my number, bro? Low. Nah,
all of a sudden, you get the grey ticks. You've been blocked. Like, look, there's a limit to it. So for me, I think that the FFP. I know people love to use it. I know we love to hate Chelsea and City because they've been so successful the last 2 decades. I know we love it. And it's, oh my God, they've cheated and they've done this. Listen, if it's not Chelsea or City doing something like this, somebody else will be doing something else. And what we can't do is every single time this happens in football, start bringing out new rules to just find a fair rule which keeps everybody moderately in place. Like, even if, look, I mean, I don't believe that you can tell people how much they can sell players for. But imagine you said, right, the most you can sell a footballer for is 75 million. Right? The most you can sell a footballer for, or the most you can pay for, which is the same thing, is 75 million pounds. Right? All of a sudden, it's then down to the point of, if the club don't want to sell, they don't want to sell. Yeah? The money's not extortionate. Clubs then don't need to sell because they're being almost held to ransom like Brighton.
Yeah, and then you can't bully the smaller clubs.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, because they can say, all right, cool, you can have him, but we want our 75 mil.
Yeah.
Or we're not selling.
Yeah. You know it's 75 mil. Or, do you know what? You can pay 75 mil for him. We don't want to let him go this summer.
But that's it. Right. And if I do get my 75 mil, that means I can pretty much afford anyone else to replace them. Then all of a sudden, then it's a level playing field.
Right.
That's what it is. Because even the notion, that is for sustainability and all that, that's bullshit. Because if it was for sustainability and to stop clubs from going bust and that, then why are they allowing Manchester United to still function with that level of debt? If financial fair play was about sustainability, they should say to the Glazers, listen, unless you pay off that 1 billion debt that you own on the club, then you have to sell it. If they really cared about the club going bankrupt, they don't care because they know that it ain't got nothing to do with that.
I just feel that there's... Look, I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a football industry expert. But it just seems to me that there's so much better, simpler systems processes that can be implemented rather than over a 3-year period, you must have done X, Y, Z. Why over a 3-year period? Make it this period. This summer, you can spend 150 million. Yeah. This summer, they can. Championship, change it. Championship. No one in the championship can spend more than 75 million pounds. So that way, you're keeping it on a scale to make sure that no one is spending outside of their means. Mm-hmm. No club is then relatively in danger of going into administration because they've broke the bank to try and secure Premier League football and Premier League money. You know, it just seems crazy. But again, all the people implementing the rules are the ones getting rich at the same time. And
but this is why they don't really care. This is why football fans need to stop caring. Because let me tell you, all these guys, are bending the rules, and then all that happens is, like, they'll just pay someone and it will go away, innit? That's just all it is. Like, the Premier League, really, they don't even want to dock City points. They don't really want to dock Chelsea points. They don't want to relegate them because that damages the brand of the Premier League. What they really want to do is find them some money. Do you know what I mean? So they can get some money to put in their pockets. That's what these guys care about. They don't want to relegate them. Imagine the hit that the TV money takes, if Chelsea and Man City get relegated.
And all those star players from Man City no longer playing in the Premier League
no more. Like, that don't make
sense. They don't want Erling Haaland, who's that big a global super. Do you know what I mean? And Vardy. Look, for me, I've got a hunch on what might happen. I think what they'll do is, I think they've realised, always in retrospect, I think they'll have realised by giving Everton 10 points, that they've put themselves into a little bit of a pickle here. Yeah. And I think
they're going to reduce it. Watch.
Yep. I think they'll reduce it to whatever it is, 4, 5, whatever, 6 points. Then, if they do have to sanction Chelsea and Man City, they can go, all right, 10 points. Because, look, well, Everton only got that. You got 10. It's massive. And I think Chelsea this season would probably go, all right, 10 points. We're not winning a league anyway. Man City right now, who are top of the league, would probably go, right, okay, if you took 10 points off us, now we're 9 points off the top of the table. Still fancy it with 26 league games to go to reduce a 9-point deficit. That's what I think they will do, because they won't want to be seen as not punishing. They don't want to punish them too harsh because they need the revenue. Mate, it's a mess. The whole thing's a mess. And how has football got to this point? How? I just don't get it.
I just think they never saw everything going the way it went, and now it's a damage limitation thing for them. Do you know what I mean? And I think they're just learning as they go along. They're winging it, mate.
I completely agree. Listen, but the thing is, Everton haven't even contested their charge, right? Everton have said we're guilty. They've accepted they're guilty. They're contesting the severity of the punishment.
Yeah,
and that's the difference. What people aren't understanding: Man City aren't accepting the charges. They're saying, no, we'll fight this in court. Their lawyers are going, don't worry about this. We'll drag this out for 3 years.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll drag this out for 3 years. And then by the time they've dragged it out, it will all have lost its momentum. And listen, it's all corrupt. It's all a joke. And then you've got Spurs fans going, oh, aren't you glad you got Levy? Nah, give me City or Chelsea's trophies from the last 20 years.
Yeah, 100%. No, facts only, man. Do you know
it's all good fun, though, isn't it? Gives us something to talk about.
We'll see, exactly. But chances are not much is happening. Big up everyone for watching the show. Make sure you smash the like. Make sure you subscribe to Football Heritage TV. The link is in the title. What you got coming up for the rest of the week, man?
For the rest of the week, just a lot of videos. Got my brand new show tomorrow, episode 2, called Rivals React. Fans from loads of different clubs. I'm gonna do the England watch along tonight for my sins, and I was just checking to see what the team was. Okay, he's actually put some attacking players in there today, and then just a few videos, man. And I cannot wait for the Premier League to come back. But shamelessly, I am only like 100 off of 12k. If anyone would be so kind, that would be lovely.
Love that, guys. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. Big milestone. And yeah, man, I didn't even know England were playing today. I can't even lie, mate. You know what I mean? I won't be watching that. Who are they playing?
We're away in North Macedonia, and Harry Maguire's playing. So it's good times for all.
Nah, I'm all right. Do you know what I'm saying? If Cole Palmer's starting, I might give it a peek. Other than that, if he's not, I'm not bothering. So. You know what I mean? Big up everyone inside. Smash up the likes. Tomorrow, I think 1 o'clock, we've got Footy Talk with Matisse and Deluded. So yeah, man, a little throwback for you lot. So yeah, look out for that. Smash the likes, and I'll catch you guys